Everyone can relate to the memories of driving to see your relatives in a different town or county for holidays, special events, or even just to spend the afternoon with them. The summer barbecues your family would host and the early Christmas mornings were always some of my favorites when it pertained to going to see relatives. Yet, what if one day you look on the map and the town that is not there? Everyone around you has begun to look puzzled when you mention the town by name, and it seems as though the town had just vanished into thin air. Well, that was the case for those who were associated with Doveland, Wisconsin, and in this video, we will discuss where this internet mystery came from and hopefully find answers as to what happened to Doveland, Wisconsin. So, as many of you are starting to figure out from my other videos, I love a good mystery. Whether it be from a movie, an urban legend, or even an internet mystery, mysteries are something that I always like to try and solve, or at the very least, find clues to try and help solve it, or just to come up with a theory. So, when I was scrolling the other night and heard about the town that disappeared in the heart of Wisconsin, I was hooked. I spent the rest of my waking hours and most of the day researching this place, trying to figure out where it came from and all the intricacies behind it. And what I present to you today is a video discussing all of what I found in relation to this topic. But first, what is Doveland? Doveland is apparently a small rural town that sat in the heart of Wisconsin up until the 1990s, where it seemingly disappeared off the face of the earth. What makes Doveland so unique, though, is that people recall memories of having relatives that lived in that town, and some people even have memorabilia from the town, such as shirts and mugs. There were also results of people looking up the town on Google, only for the page to pull up 0 results for this specific town. On top of all of this, it seems as though there is no public record of the town's existence. What I mean by that is towns, especially small rural ones, will usually keep a record of things such as any sort of name changes, rezonings, public officials, people that were born/died in that town. There's not even any property records. Even when you look on maps created before the 90s, it seems as though there is not a single town named Doveland or was once named Doveland. And so, now we return to our mystery, that being what happened to this small town in Wisconsin. I'll go over the mainstream theories before discussing the one I believe in the most, but for now, let's start off with the most popular theory, that being it was destroyed by a massive earthquake. This massive earthquake could have possibly been so devastating that it opened a massive sinkhole and swallowed the entire town. And that's the entirety of that theory. But the main issues with said theory is that the state of Wisconsin does not sit on any fault lines. Fault lines are where 2 blocks of rock meet along a fault and can move below or beside each other. When these fault lines rub against each other, they create earthquakes. But without fault lines, the possibilities of you having an earthquake are much lower, and the possibility of you having an earthquake that would be catastrophic enough to open a sinkhole is, as my old forensic science teacher would put it, possible but not very probable. Another thing I want to point out is, if this earthquake caused a sinkhole, where is said sinkhole? It's not like it would just disappear, there would still be remnants of the earthquake having taken place. So, with all of that in mind, what does Wisconsin have that could possibly cause damage on this scale? Another popular theory is that a dam collapsed and flooded the town, causing the buildings to collapse and ending the lives of nearly everyone. Except, similar to the earthquake theory, people would have noticed and reported on this catastrophe taking place. Alongside this, if there was a flood that destroyed a town, remnants of that town would still be there, such as foundations to buildings. But now, we enter the exciting theories about what happened to this town. This next theory is that Doveland was the location of a failed military science experiment, and so the government covered up the failure at Doveland and is now doing everything they can to hide it from the public. I personally like this theory for the fact that I like learning about government conspiracies and cover-ups, but a part of me knows that if this were the case, someone would most likely have stumbled upon the town and reported it, or we would have heard about it from a YouTube video. There would be evidence of its existence from old bomb shelters or buildings erected by the military that now stand covered in graffiti. Yet, there is nothing in Wisconsin to prove that a military operation even took place in the area that Doveland was supposed to reside in. And, of course, if none of these theories work, then we return to a theory as old as time, a theory that seems to connect itself to everyone and everything no matter how distant or minuscule it may seem. That theory being the involvement of extraterrestrial life. This theory suggests that aliens were able to abduct not only the residents of Doveland, but the entirety of the town off the face of the earth. What they did to this town is still a mystery, but now let's move on to the theory I subscribe to the most. That theory being that this is one elaborate hoax. Let's take all the information I stated at the start of the video and apply it here. For starters, there is no public record of this town's existence. Every state takes records of the towns that reside in it and the people that live in said towns. Alongside this, the towns themselves document things such as public officials and people who were born or died there. The fact that there is none of that is already pretty sketchy, not to mention the fact that people didn't start mentioning a missing town in Wisconsin until 2015. Despite this, many people, such as some of the viewers, may point out that people claim to have merchandise from the town, like I stated before. They may have shirts and mugs and hats from this missing town, but there are plenty of websites where you can design your own merchandise. And based off looking at the merchandise itself, it doesn't seem all that unique in the grand scheme of things. It seems like something anybody could really create on said merchandise, and it could pass up as a piece of merchandise from that town. So, what I think is going on is that this missing town most likely started off as some sort of horror mystery story that was born from the internet and simply evolved into something greater than what it was intended to be. And for those who claim to actually remember going to that town, they are most likely victims to false memories, a sort of psychological effect that can take place through social and cognitive reinforcements to where people think they remembered something they never actually experienced. It's sort of like the Mandela effect. The Mandela effect is a type of false memory that occurs when several people misremember the same thing. Another example of this is found all across the internet, such as the Monopoly Man having a monocle when he never actually did, Pikachu from the Pokemon series having a stripe on his tail when, again, he never actually did, and there being a dash in the Kit Kat logo when there actually wasn't. But yet, none of it took place, thus giving birth to the Mandela effect. And that is what I believe, based on my research and reading through the theories online, happened to Doveland, Wisconsin. It was simply a mixture between a believable hoax and the effects of the Mandela effect that no one was really prepared for. Despite all of this though, I think the idea of Doveland, Wisconsin is very fascinating. When researching the topic, whenever someone would describe their memories of Doveland, it felt very dreamlike in the way that they spoke about it. Even if I never heard recordings of them talk, it still felt like they were reminiscing on a dream they had as a child. It was almost as if Doveland was a place from an episode of The Twilight Zone or something. When I first heard about this topic though, I knew I had to make a video on it, but this is the part of the video where I start yapping and I'm no longer really talking about the subject of the video, so if you guys don't really want to hear me yap about random stuff, then that's cool, I understand, but thank you to everyone who has watched this video so far, and thank you for 300 subscribers. I mean, wow. It just feels like a lot when I actually look at it. Like, I never really thought I would actually hit numbers like this. It's also very motivating to see that number steadily go up, and to see the comments you all put under the video. It's just really nice seeing them. I like hearing the different theories or takes people have. I also like when people tell me stuff I didn't know. It really means a lot to me, and I'm always excited to research something new to potentially make a video on. As for my next video though, I'm not too sure what it will be about. I usually try and make a plan for what the next topics of my videos will be, but as for right now, I don't have anything in particular I'm planning on making, but I hope you all have a great rest of your day, night, morning, afternoon, whatever time it is, and I will see you all in the next video. Again, thank you for watching.